Yes, sir. You never seen a podcast this good for this long.
You better know it.
What more can you say? Podcast where we
Believe it.
tackle the
Yeah.
latest headlines in culture and lifestyle. I go by the name Radio God Stu.
And I'm Jalen Brown. I'm not going. No, I'm playing. Yeah! Episode 2! Double O!
My man got to get hyped.
Yeah! Sorry, y'all. I'm just now using this sounder for the first time. But I had to. Yeah, no, I had to do that again. I'm going to do that every time. So just be prepared for that, please.
Absolutely, man. Well, you know, this is where we talk to the culture talks back.
For sure.
You know, first episode went amazingly well.
Oh,
Thanks for everybody that tapped in on the socials, on the What More Can You Say IG.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We definitely appreciate y'all. Keep them coming, you know what I'm saying? Tell a friend to tell a friend to make sure that they tune in, all right?
For sure.
But guess what?
Wait, before you start launching the show, let's just talk for a second, brother. How you doing?
I'm amazing.
What's going on, man? What's been going on? What's new and exciting?
Man, just getting this money. That's it.
Okay.
But getting any money.
I feel that. I was driving up here earlier, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I just want to talk about some of you in Georgia who be driving. I need to know why be driving 60 in the far left lane. Why be slowing down the second that the cops are on the farthest side, off on the sidewalk, or on the side of the road. And then I also need to know why a little bit of water coming out the sky makes everybody drive like 15 miles an hour slower. Go.
No,
Like, what is this? This shit is crazy.
Nah, man, it's 100 drivers against the goddamn Grady curve.
Yeah.
On 85 or 100 drivers on that 75-85 merger. Like, bro, all you gotta do is merge. Just keep going. There's no reason for you to stop. I've never seen a stop sign on a fucking highway before.
And if it's not that, bro, to me also, summers in Georgia are low-key the worst. Like, it's cool to be outside to me. Morning, I could walk my dog, get it in, cool. Evening, I could go out and do. But if it's the middle of the day, stay out of your car. You're air frying in that joint the second you get in there. No cap. I got in my car today, bro, and it was like 11 a.m. before I started heading up here, and I'm already starting to toast. I'm sweating, all type of shit. It was crazy.
Well, man, you just got to get your AC done, man. Go holler at my boy
Eddie. Oh, God, I'm busting.
Eddie on Memorial Drive going to get your shit right for you.
Send me that number. No. Send me that number for real, though, because I need a mechanic. But anyways, all right, go ahead, man. Let's jump into it.
You know what it is, man. So, hey, first off, you know what holiday is coming up, right?
For sure.
Father's Day.
Yeah.
Father's Day is coming up. With Father's Day coming up, I was actually reading up on this Halle and DDG situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Shorty done went like full crazy on her baby daddy. And I don't know if I'm in total agreement of some of the terms of the restraining order that she got.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Before we get there, though, how do you feel about just the general premise of the restraining order being kind of out there now?
I feel like it's stupid, and I feel like it's. I feel like a man should have just as much as right to his child as the mother does, especially if the child isn't in like danger, the child isn't being mistreated or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? A father should have just as much as rights to the child. Her saying that like he can only see his child for 6 hours a week.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Supervised by another company.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You sound crazy, especially like when in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? Every interview, you were talking about how great of a dad he is. Oh my God, I couldn't have done this with anybody better. Yeah. Like, what has changed? I know that baby ain't even got no teeth in his mouth yet. So What has changed? What has changed, you know what I'm saying, from then to now to where it's like he can't even be around this child unless it's supervised by another freaking company. Like, what has changed?
I'll speak to 2 points. So first, when you talking about the 6-hour visitation, I'm not going to say disregard or not pay attention to the accusations and why that restraining order came up, but I will say this for me, bro. Anytime I see something like that, my first thought goes to, God, please bless me with a serious wife, because the last thing that I'm going to be doing, bro, I'll be hot if I end up having a kid, because I just expect to be, you know, I'm all engaged. I'm super dad the whole nine.
Right.
When I get that position, I'm going to be hurt if you telling me that like, oh yeah, nah, yeah. So that whole like spending time every single day, that's out. You get this amount of time, this amount, like not being able to see your child whenever you want. That sounds nuts. Now, my second point to the whole Halle and DDG thing in general, I don't really, and I know this isn't popular for podcasts, but I don't really have an opinion one way or the other at this time, because I think something we got to remember, we don't know these niggas.
Right.
I feel like a lot of the times, bro, like there's a thirst to be first online and just want to go out and give their opinion the second that they think of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with speaking to prior experience, so on and so forth. But for me personally, I just can't get into this whole war of words with people or get this emotional investment over two people that I don't know. I don't know the facts. And how many times in history have we seen situations where somebody might say, oh, no, that's no, such and such and such and such could never have done that. And then it turns out that it's like, I mean, we got this Diddy thing coming up, episode 3, by the way. This Diddy thing is coming up, though, and he's a prime example to me of somebody who lived their life in the public. And the second that these accusations came out for him, people just pretty much dismissed it, said it was complete nonsense. He'll be in and out of, booking pretty much, and then right back in his penthouse. No. And that turned out to not be the case.
Right. But I mean, the only thing with the Halle and DDG thing is that, like, I put myself in that situation, like that, and that's why people like have like such strong opinions and such strong comments on it, because we place ourselves in that situation. Like, damn, if that was me, you know what I'm saying? And the best thing that I could tell anybody is like, use that situation to like make sure that you know your rights and how to not be in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Not that I give a fuck about, you know what I'm saying, DDG or nothing like that. I don't know the nigga. I met Halle one time. You know what I'm saying? Now Chloe, that's a different story. You know, you know what I'm saying? But like, you got to know your rights as a father. You know what I'm saying? And how to not put yourself in that position to where, you know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, you and your the mother's relationship did go sour or whatever, but you still have rights to your child, and you're not out here, you know what I'm saying, being castigated as someone that's,
abusive
to your child, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want that narrative, and you don't. One day that child is gonna have to grow up, and he's gonna have to read these things, and you know what I'm saying? Kids are mean as shit. So kids are going in school gonna be like, yeah, your daddy can't see you unless somebody else got to be around you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so just don't put yourself in that situation by knowing your rights and knowing, you know what I'm saying, how to not be in that.
Now talk to that for a second, because I'm green, but in the sense of I've dealt with women all throughout my life, but I haven't been.
Stop lying.
Anyways, I've been dealing with women my whole life, and I just haven't been in a situation, bro, where somebody has either put their hands on me or gotten to the place where it's really toxic in that sense. So for me, I do hear where you're coming from. I don't want to just paint with a broad brush, but again, like my experience is I just haven't been in that space. So that's probably a big reason for it too. To your point is I just don't feel as compelled to put my opinion out there immediately, because I just haven't, not only do I not know these, but I just haven't been in that situation either to feel that level of projection.
Oh no, I definitely done been in some situations where, unfortunately it did get physical. Not, I didn't put my hands on them, but you know what I'm saying? I done pushed some women with some of the things that I may have done or not done that, you know what I'm saying, they felt like they need to put their hands on me, you know what I'm saying? And it's reached that level of, you know what I'm saying, okay, this just ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
I'd be living in the Twilight Zone if a chick ever slapped the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. I would probably be slapped into another dimension, because I would just be sitting there like, bro, how did I get here?
Because, nigga, you put it down on her ass bad enough.
See,
nigga,
here we
you
go.
gonna do
See,
some
here we
shit,
go.
she gonna be mad.
Niggas be abused so much, they be thinking they're like, nah, I'm putting it down, bro. That's what it is. Nah, I put it down too, and I ain't getting my ass whipped. I'm just keeping it a stack. But I will say overall, this case is going to be something that continues to be watched, in my opinion, because they're both such public figures, particularly DDG, where he lives his entire life out on stream. So this won't be the last part we hear about this for sure.
Nah, and speaking of sunning,
oh, shit. Yeah.
Yo, your boy Ab-Soul, man. That whole realm and that whole situation is going crazy right now.
Yeah, so
I don't know if everybody's up on it. You know
so what you're talking about is the Ab-Soul, Joey Badass, and
Ray Vaughn.
Ab-Soul, Joey Badass, and Big Sean.
Big Sean.
That's so unfortunate, because I do want to talk about that real quick. So they all did a freestyle on Red Bull, smoked it. Everybody got busy for real. And to my point about me forgetting Big Sean's name, and I feel bad, bro, Big Sean is an impactful artist. And I saw somebody online having this discussion about, the moment's always bigger than Big Sean. And I thought that was funny, because it just sounds funny to say. But I do wonder why that's the perception, because to me, granted, they were big moments, but the only two times I could think of where he got quote unquote surpassed by the moment would be his Control verse and then this cypher here. But other than that, I mean, niggas had a 10+ year career of just doing him.
No, for sure, man. Big shout out to Big Sean. Actually, Big Sean like came to my birthday party one year, and like nobody knew.
This nigga industry hoe.
Nah,
Go ahead,
for sure.
keep going.
Shout out to my boy DJ Spins. He hit me
Okay,
like,
yeah, more name drops. Pick that up off the
I
ground.
got Big Sean with me. Want to pull
Okay,
up?
okay,
I'm like,
yeah,
sure, pull up. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Sean, but with Sean's career, it's been crazy to watch because you know what I'm saying, he did have this rise. You know what I'm saying, especially with the whole good music. You know what I'm saying? Realm. It was him. It was Sci-Hi. It was Pusha T.
Facts.
It was Kanye. You know what I'm saying? They was like
that wave was stupid.
That wave was crazy.
Nah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? And like out of all those people, like out of Sci-Hi, Pusha, like he had the most like commercial. You know what I'm saying? The most commercial breakout of those artists. And then it's like, damn. Like now it's like, damn. Like where the f is Big Sean been?
It blows me, bro. I don't understand because to your point, when I was first coming up in hip hop, Big Sean was getting popping from Finally Famous Volume 3. That was my shit. And then, I mean, even from that to Finally Famous, the album itself, which some people like, some people didn't like, but I feel like he's always been on that rise. Like when he first came out, bro, he was in the same class to me as it was like Big Sean, Wiz, Wale, Cole, Drake. Kendrick wasn't even to me
nah,
in
he
that.
Wasn't even there
he
yet.
wasn't even in that mix initially. It wasn't
yet.
until you get Section 80, and a lot of these guys have already launched their careers that you start to see Kendrick kind of emerge. Like, I mean, because think about it, Kendrick's first, from my knowledge, his first really big major look was when he did the Buried Alive interlude on Drake's Take Care album, and that was in 2010, I believe.
Yeah.
And I don't think Section 80 dropped until 2011.
Yeah.
Or no, not 2011. I think it might have dropped the year before or something along those lines. But the point being, like, the rise that you're seeing kind of between the two of them, it felt like it matched the same energy. And then it was almost like I don't know what point it was. It felt like it was shortly thereafter of the Dark Sky Paradise that it was like things just started to kind of slope off a little bit. And I don't really know why that is.
I mean, the industry, bro, the industry gets to certain artists. You know what I'm saying? The industry gets the better of certain artists at a certain time. Because you look at Sean, right? You know, he's popping.
Yeah.
You know, he's reached this level of success where it's just like, yo, he's like the biggest he's dating Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro was real pop starred out for sure.
Yeah, he was out here. But then it's like, personally, you start thinking like, damn, I'm famous. Everybody know me. I'm successful. I got hits on the charts. You know what I'm saying? But damn, I don't feel like the money is adding up. You know what I'm saying? My bank account ain't adding up.
Yeah.
So now it's like, hold on, stop this music.
Yeah.
Let me go focus on finding my money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then even when you do that, you lose. And once you start learning that the workings of the industry and how, you know what I'm saying, people are taking advantage of you and all that, like now it's like, I'm not even thinking about being creative and focusing on putting out no music. Man, f the industry, f music. And you know what I'm saying? And you get to like a place where it's like, man, I ain't even worried about none of that. I'm worried about goddamn, you know what I'm saying, fixing my life. You know what I'm saying? Because now I gotta put all this time and my life into this. It's like, I gotta fix that. But whole time you doing that,
industry's gone.
Industry gone. You know what I'm saying? Everybody done migrated and moved on to the next wave, to the next person, to the next thing. And you think that you got a year and a half, or 2 years to take off, and people still going, nah, they not gonna be there waiting for you. They not, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're like Michael Jackson or Chris Brown or somebody like that.
Staying power.
Like, yeah, you don't have the staying power to withstand not putting out music for a year or 2 years while you figure out, you know what I'm saying, your legal things and your life and all that type of stuff. But that stuff is important for you to figure out. But you also have to be conscious of the fact that, you know what I'm saying, while you're doing that, your audience is moving somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for Big Sean, bro, is probably just gonna be, because I've even heard some verses that he's dropped here in the last couple years, last couple months, and it feels like he's ramping up for another project. And so I'm really hoping that whatever he gets ready to put out as a full body of work turns out to be something that's impactful and can actually stand the test of time. Because to your point, I think you look at some of the more recent projects like the one with Metro, when Metro was scorching hot and that project didn't really move the way it needed to. I think he had the I Decided joint, didn't really move the way it needed to. So you're looking for Sean to not just put out stellar verses, because you know pretty much anytime that nigga get a feature, he gonna smash it. He gonna smash it. But it's the body of work to me that will really help elevate him and put him back in those conversations that he was when he first came out.
Yeah, it's just the machine. He needs that machine again. You know what I'm saying? And once you've gone kind of like, you know, nuclear on the industry and like, fuck this nigga, fuck that nigga, this nigga owe me money, this nigga owe me money, You know what I'm saying? Now it's like the industry really don't want to get behind you no more and back you no more because you kind of done went crazy on us already. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that's where Sean is to the fact to like he can't have another commercial success release. It's just gonna have to be for his core fans and core people that really like Sean.
Yeah, he's got to touch the streets again, bro. Like I don't know. I feel like even when I'm thinking of Sean's coming up, like, and to your point, I think he has experienced a lot of maturity, whether it be through business side, whether it be through family. So I think he's gone through a lot of things that have kind of crafted him into who he is today. And it's kind of reflected in the material, bro. Like he does a lot more, and it doesn't really move me as much, which is probably why I've fallen off a little bit as far as being as big of a fan. Still a super dope MC, but the, energy, chakras, that don't really move me on a record. That don't do it for me in hip hop, bro. So to me, it's kind of like, I just think also where people are in the audience is not necessarily where he is in his life. Like his fans have grown up with him, but I just don't think that they're on the same frequency when it kind of comes to that type of stuff.
No, it's not. They're definitely not in alignment anymore. But who is in alignment? Joey Badass.
Yeah.
Ray Vaughn.
Yeah.
They they going at it.
Bro, I'm so happy for Joey. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I've really come up listening to this since 1999. Well, not the year.
Damn.
I'm talking about the project. But when he dropped that project, bro, for me, it was as a young nigga who was really coming into lyricism and really becoming a huge fan of hip hop itself. He spoke to me on some different shit because he's a nigga who was around my age, but was doing the dusty hip hop beats. He was doing stuff over Doom production. And so that to me is what made him stand out. And I was kind of like, oh, damn, hold on. Like, it feels like somebody for me that was a little bit younger with an older ear to some extent. He fit exactly what I was looking for. And so his timeline to me has been kind of crazy because, like I said, he 1999 to Summer Nights to Before the Money, I think, and then All American Badass. He had a good amount of momentum. To your Big Sean point, it's kind of like it felt like at some point there was a disconnect between him and the industry, and he just kind of took that step back himself and then got really into the acting stuff. And now you see him on Power doing this thing, and which seems to kind of be that's like the main thing niggas been dissing him on. Is like, oh, you an actor now, niggas? Whatever. But yeah, I mean, that just kind of seems to be the timeline of events right now. And so now you're getting caught up to Joey kind of trying to put his foot back into things and really get back in the culture and kind of take a step back from the acting side. And so he's been trying to bomb on Kendrick for about 6 months now, bro. Like he's like, and it's funny because I see some people kind of talk about like, oh, well, Joey's not in Kendrick's class. And I 100% agree with that. However, they did come up in a similar time. And so I do think that they are a little bit more familiar with one another and maybe and see each other maybe as peers a little bit more than the public might kind of perceive things. Yeah,
and especially when it comes to like one thing about lyricists, lyricists know who the other lyricists are.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like they even if they're not like commercially big or something, they know, okay, that got bars. Yeah. That can rap for real. Yeah. Regardless of what the public may think, you know what I'm saying? That can rap. And I definitely feel like there's a mutual respect when it comes to each other's lyricism, when it comes to those two.
Yeah, because Joey been shooting at this, bro, but Kendrick has not been taking the bait. He's not responding.
Yeah,
he
I mean,
really
it's smart. I mean, it's smart. It's smart because at the end of the day, like, why would I risk getting into a battle with you when I know I'm dope and I can battle
the top of the top,
right? And they gonna be scared of me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I risk getting knocked out by you? You know what I'm saying?
I will say this, and I don't want to be too naive and too super backpack hip hop, but I would like to see Kendrick engage just for the sake of the sport, because I do think he's a student of the game, and I think he's proven that. And so I think that he is somebody who, for the sake of the sport and the spirit of hip hop, I could see him maybe at some point giving a couple bars to him, but it's not gonna be it's not gonna be a whole record like how bro's thinking.
Nah, it ain't gonna be. He's not gonna get the back and forth like Drake did.
Or like Ray Vaughn is looking for. So that's the thing. Like in this record, bro, I'm not gonna lie, when I was listening to the freestyle, so Big Sean sets it off. And no disrespect. Also, shout out to Absol, man. Big TDE fan. I love Absol. Absol is one of the dopest. However, we're talking about Joey here. Joey, when he starts going off of his verse, bro, I was really sitting there like, damn, he did so many different entendres and flips with the whole light thing from like the or even when he did the little diss to Reason and stuff, talking about getting dropped off Top's roster and I'ma be the reason. I thought that was dope. I thought that was nice wordplay. Don't think it needed a 3-minute response. Sorry, Reason, you're dope, but golly. But we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, no, I thought the record was hella dope, bro. And I thought that Joey showed himself in a different space, in that battle rap space where he could really do the light flips and the double entendres and the I think he had some bar like don't need to catch a flight, and I'ma still book. Don't need to catch a flight, and I'ma still pack light or something like that. Something to that effect. So like he was really flipping it, bro, and he was doing his thing for show. And so I do recommend everybody check it out because Joey was spitting something vicious. He was getting at Rayvon crazy. And
do you think Rayvon scored any punches back? With
absolutely not. No. And I'm gonna tell you why though, bro. Rayvon, I had never prior to this little diss, I had never listened to any of his records. I'm not gonna lie. I heard some of them in passing, but I never sat there and listened to a project extensively. It wasn't until he started going back and forth with Joey that I kind of started being like, because I think he had like some bars in there kind of saying that he's closer to Joey than Joey is to Kendrick. And my whole perception of that was like, bro, you have no classics.
Right.
You have no hits. Rayvon is a dope MC, but he doesn't have a catalog yet or really any equity in the game to really even try to knock up at somebody like Joey, in my opinion.
You know why?
Why?
I feel like be getting the festival head.
What you mean?
Like get on a festival or two and they think, you know, they go out there and it's like thousands of people and they think that those thousands of people are there to see them.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said I see some of you rappers on IG. I see some of y'all know y'all are playing. I get it though. It's all good. You got to sell your tickets.
And I feel like, you know what I'm saying, that the festival thing is like, it's great for the consumer, for the fan, but I think it confuses the artist as to who their audience really is. And I think it's kind of getting up the game a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think and I think it's two ways. Like I think it up because you're talking about people who might start pricing their fans out of certain situations where you can't go see them at the regular venue anymore because they think that festival crowd was theirs, or even the sound starts shifting, bro. Like you might see some of these artists who they start getting booked for festivals and now all of a sudden everything they're trying to make is quote unquote rage music or, you know, turn up music or mosh pit music or this, that, and third. It's like, this was never your lane until you started getting in front of, you know, different crowds. And there's nothing wrong with diversifying the sound, but I want niggas to stay true to them and not use these festivals as a launch pad to just start thinking that your ego or that your personality, that your brand is just way out of here.
Right. Because artists, they'll charge the promoters or the festivals, you know what I'm saying, $100,000.
That's why niggas will be in these interviews lying and yeah, I'm getting 200 a show. It's like, bro, you're getting 200 for the festival.
You got for the festival,
Facts,
bro.
Yeah.
Go pack out a 2,000, 5,000 people venue, capacity venue.
Telling you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't do it. You ain't got 5,000 people that's going to pull up and pay to see you.
To your point, bro, like I remember when I was going to see Pusha T like 2 years ago and he was performing at Coca-Cola Roxy and I think he sold that joint out. And I think maybe like a month later, Ice Spice was at that same venue, didn't sell it out.
No.
And for some people online, bro, that probably sounds like, oh, nah, this line, like he's just making shit up. And I'm like, bro, you like if you really start going outside to concerts, especially because these venues are only so big and there's only so many venues across the nation and in the state. So if you're not going to the Loft, if you think you're too big for that, then you're probably going to be at Coca-Cola Roxy. And if you think you're too big for that, you probably not going to be able to sell out State Farm.
Or Tabernacle.
Right, yeah. And so it everything kind of has a different cycle to it, bro. But I just think that really is starting to get lost for a lot of artists is the perception online or the perception at these more public venues versus kind of their more intimate shows and what's specifically for them in their core.
Because you can do 5 Rolling Louds for the year, you know what I'm saying, and think, yo, I'm him or I'm her, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But can you go sell out this venue right here with just you?
Yeah.
And that separates the men from the boys and the women from the girls.
That to me is what gives somebody, that's why I've always loved the careers of somebody like a Currency, for example, because he's somebody who has put his footprint in the culture and he can go tour today, sell out a venue. He can go tour 10 years from now, sell out the venue because he's put in that sweat equity with his fan base and he's really built up that core to where they're gonna go see him no matter what it is.
No matter what it is. And there's a difference between having a fan base and being popular.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have artists that are the popularity through the roof.
Yeah.
Fan base that will support you and come out and spend money with you.
Yeah.
Zero.
And to your point, bro, that's a fact, because there will be so many times that I'm getting ready to go look for concert tickets or something like that, and I'll be telling one of my homies who might be a fan of the same artist, and I'm like, oh, yo, for example, like, yo, Smino's about to be in concert in like a month and a half or something like that. And it's like, oh, yo, I love Smino. And then you're like, all right, bro, so let's get ready to get these tickets. And it's like,
I'm not necessarily going to spend no money to go see Smino. Right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I think.
Shit, who else going to be there?
Yeah,
who else performing?
That's what I'm saying. Be looking for functions after and all type of shit. So I think that's a big thing too, is we're in this internet age now where it almost doesn't always seem as cool to go outside. And because everybody got their phone, if I can't go to the concert tonight, it don't really matter, because if I'm not really big into being outside like that anyways, I plug this joint up. I plug up my phone and I'm watching the entire concert.
Right.
Yeah, from my bed, feet kicked up, all type of shit. So yeah, so I 100% agree with you, bro.
Man, shout out to NBA YoungBoy. Now that boy right there, his tour.
You gotta put respect on it.
They just announced his tour.
You gotta put respect on it.
Arenas, selling them out, and I couldn't tell you not one song from none of them goddamn opening artists.
That's a fact. And shout out to them, because I think it's like EBK J-Bo is one of them. Shout out to them, bro. But at the end of the day, to your point, these are not dudes who have a huge following here. These are not rappers that have got this huge, crazy brand. Yet and still, NBA YoungBoy is pretty much just taking them on as a favor to them.
Right.
And he's about to he's about to go sell out stadiums and arenas as a rapper solo, pretty much. You don't even see Drake doing that.
Nah.
And Drake will get people of a much higher caliber to go on tour with him. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's only to sell tickets, but it does speak out to you that NBA YoungBoy is able to just really put his foot on and just go and mash and just go all over the country and just straight up arenas.
Why do you think that his fan base resonates more so than some of these other artists that, you know what I'm saying, may be just as popular? But like, for instance, right? I like Moneybagg Yo. I like DaBaby.
Yeah.
I don't see them announcing a tour and, you know what I'm saying, being like, oh, he's going to sell out the arena.
That's a young question, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm relatively young, but NBA YoungBoy is a generation behind me to some extent. So I feel like he's really just somehow done a great job connecting with the youth, bro. Like the kids that are like, I feel like if you 28 and under, this looks damn near like Wayne to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about, and I'm not saying he's on that level as far as talent, but when you think about the releasing, the way that he's in the public eye, what he's in the public eye for, like, kids just gravitate to that whole imagery that he has. And then I'm not gonna lie, bro, like, even if I'm not a huge fan of his music, the work ethic is crazy. He's going to drop 30 songs maybe like at one given moment, just drop them, just call them leaks or whatever. Or he might end up having a year where he drops 4 to 5 albums. So you got to respect it. I think, almost kind of like Currency, different fan bases, but they've done a good job of really building this up from the ground up. And so NBA YoungBoy hasn't toured in years, and he announces this, and I'm sure it'll probably do really well for him.
I mean, with the younger generation too, I feel like, the artists, they're not as quick to like blow up as, say, like the new streamers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like the streamers, they're becoming the new artists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like people, like, I feel like they're becoming more influential. I feel like people are tuning into the streamers more than they are to the new young artists.
Yeah, and I think a big thing with that though is being able to connect with people, being personable. Like, so when you're on stream and you just sitting in front of a screen and you got this segment coming up, this interview coming up, and you're just, or maybe you're just on there for 6 to 7 hours just talking. You know what I'm saying? That at a certain point in time, people who are even willing to tune in, they feel like they know you after 2 streams because you spent half a day with them just telling them everything about you. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think more artists need to get into streaming, or do you feel like, the streamers are just, just gonna have that market share, take over that market share?
That's a good question, because I've seen some rappers who I feel like have big personalities that would be good on a stream. But I also think that when you make yourself that accessible on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis, whatever it may be, if you're going to be consistently streaming, it does ruin the image a little bit for a rapper, because for me, when I came up, part of what was cool about rap was not only did you feel like they were living those raps, but you would have had no way to know, bro, because their image has been protected in a way that you don't really see too much of the personal life that you're not meant to see.
Right.
Versus the streamers, you see everything.
Everything. All day.
Like we said about DDG. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see everything playing out behind the scenes like that with a rapper the way you would with a streamer. And so I do think that rappers kind of have to balance between making those appearances on the stream, because streamers are like the new radio stations to some extent when it comes to that promotion. Right. And then also protecting your image and not being too front facing, and then it kind of just ruins this whole idea of who you are as an artist instead of a person. Yeah.
I mean, shout out to the streamers, because them niggas is making that money. Like they're killing the rappers as far as making money. Like,
no, real talk.
They're talking about, oh, I get $100,000 a show. Yeah. Streamers are making $100,000 every day.
Yeah, I just saw something about DDG talking about he made like 6 figures, something like that, over the span of a month doing something with Snapchat.
Yeah. So
no, that's bread. And then even to me, speaking of the whole rappers versus streamers thing, I just want to not wrap this up, but I do want to talk about some releases for this year that I'm looking forward to.
Okay, who you looking forward to?
All right, so we got A$AP Rocky, okay? He's finally free of the case.
Daddy Rocky.
Yeah, right. That's what he's looking like right now. And so even for him, similar to the Big Sean thing, like he came up in that era, bro, when Goldie and Peso came out, he was out of here. Right. He was one of the biggest rappers that I ever seen for that generation as far as coming from the internet era. And then it felt like, you start focusing on lifestyle, fashion, everything outside of the music. To me, feels like it took more of a priority. And so now I feel like he is, not the legal stuff aside, I feel like he hasn't dropped this album because he knows he doesn't have any traction right now. It's gonna flop.
I wouldn't say that.
If he drops, I'm gonna say it. If he drops it today, bro, I think if he drops that album today with the traction or lack thereof that he's been getting, I don't think it does the numbers that he's looking for. And I think that would further hurt the image. Because it's one thing for us to be talking and saying, what Drake is talking about, oh, you need your baby mama to do so and so forth.
Nigga, that's all he needs. He has Rihanna. He does a song and Rihanna breathe on that motherfucker. He's going to have 100 million streams.
He keep teasing that he's dropping some shit this year. So I'm looking forward to it. I think the Don't Be Dumb album, I'm looking forward to that shit this year. So he's got to come up. Do you think Kendrick drops again this year?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he drops something else on niggas' head top and then he just chills for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kendrick is taking the crown as being the biggest artist in hip hop, in music right now, is Kendrick by far.
I think the best thing he could do is keep his foot on the gas. Because something that these Drake fans kept continuing to hammer when the beef was coming out was, oh, well, Kendrick's not active. He's not going to be able to drop so on and so forth, this, that, and the third. And my mindset has always kind of been like, bro, do y'all know who this is? Like, Kendrick is really like that. I think if you really study him, he's really like that. And so, to me, the only thing that would have him kind of fall short of the moment is just not being present. You just got to stay active in the culture because everybody is behind you right now. So the best thing to me he could do is finish this tour out, chill for a second, and we need an album by the end of the year.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at another Kendrick album.
Cole's dropping this year too.
Hey, we need Cole. We need Cole, man.
Do we?
Because it has to be balanced, dog. It got to be some sort of balance.
Do we?
You know what I'm saying? You need something to balance out that'll talk some sense into the game again, man.
JCole's on my listening probation list right now. I can't fuck with him. Bro, you can't spend a whole year talking about you're number one, I'm the king, so on and so forth, and then the second they pull your card, you're like, nah, man, it's all good. I'm good. I don't want no part of that. And especially because I keep hearing this cop out about, well, look what Kendrick did when it came to Drake. And I feel like that's too much of a cop out. Both of those guys, Kendrick and Cole, have a mutual level of respect to some extent to where I think they could get it on lyrically without it having to go to the nth degree that it went with Drake.
Yeah, but all is fair in love and war. You know what I'm saying? So like, you can't go too far. You know what I'm saying? To me, there's nothing when you beef with somebody as going too far. And I think that Cole understood that early and was like, you know what? Before I even continue and let this keep going, you know what? I'm gonna take a step back.
Nah, that. Don't
and
pop
I was,
it though.
And I was the biggest like, oh, that nigga pussy for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's lame. This is hip hop. You got to do this shit for hip hop. You got to do this shit.
That's it.
But the more that like the mature me started thinking about, I was like, you know what? It may be best that he let them go ahead and do it for the sport. You know what I'm saying?
Please stop.
You know what I'm saying? Let them handle that. Let them go at each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm a chill because I don't even want to be in that vein right now. That's not where I'm at in my life right now. So I'll chill. Now can he pop his shit as I'm the nicest? No, because when it was time to battle the nicest, you kind of step back. So now you got to step back when it's time for us to say who's the nicest. We wanted to champion it and put you up there, you know what I'm saying? But you gave us the ammo to say, you know what? It ain't you right now.
And that's what I'm saying. If you look at some of the verses he was dropping up into that year, bro, like, you know, the Benny record, people talked about that so much. He kept putting his foot down and was saying verbatim damn near, I'm the you can't fuck with me. No could fuck with me. And what made it worse to me was that almost was also saying too, I dare to come try it. And then dared to try it and he wanted no smoke. That is so corny to me. I'm still, if you can't tell, I'm still mad about that to this day, bro. Like I
tell
really
him why
love,
you mad, son. Tell him why you mad.
Bro, because I really love hip hop. So for this to really sit here and be a student of the game the way he is, I've listened to JCole since he first came out, Friday Night Lights. Like that, like
bitch,
I really came
up.
Come on, I came up with this. So for him to turn around, and I really felt like I was championing this too for that last year. So I'm like, damn, JCole is really mashing. And then the moment came up, and it was like watching your two favorite players go against each other, and then one of them's like, hold on a second, y'all, I got the bubble guts. I can't play today. It's like, you can't be serious. Not when it's this moment right here. You got to show up and rise. And so I'm still disappointed about that. And I'm hoping that with this album, he's able to kind of reset the energy for himself. Because, again, there's no doubt that JCole is a dope MC. He spits crazy. His verses are always nuts. I mean, he even gave Yachty a stupid verse. I think that was like a 32 or some shit. So he's still capable of putting belt to ass, but it just has to be a cohesive body of work and be true to yourself. And please, bro, do not pop no more of that I'm number one. I don't. I really do not want to hear it.
GOAT list, JCole is not at the top of it for Jalen.
Can't be.
Let's be clear.
He can't be, bro.
But I still want to hear the album, bro.
No, 100%. 100%. I'm very much looking forward to the album. I think JCole, every time he comes out, he attempts to make very strong statements or very personal statements or kind of give the update on his life. And I think that's why he's always been so successful, because he spoke directly to a generation of students, a generation, you know what I'm saying? And he was that college rapper, you know what I'm saying? That everybody was kind of like, oh yeah, no, I feel like I've seen that on campus before. And so that, to me, is also where he kind of needs to return to a little bit and really tap back in with his fan base. Start going back to the beach that we like you on. Do a feature. That no feature shit was cool for an album, but like get back and get reacclimated with the culture and really start doing your shit.
Nah, I mean, that's dope. But the person that I'm waiting for an album from, J. Cole's mentor.
Hove?
Hove.
Oh, goodness.
Beyonce's husband.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what's up? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, we get it. You done conquered the business world. You know what I'm saying? You done took over Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You done did all this stuff for everybody. Where is an album at? Where is some music at?
And
nigga?
You know he got mad to say.
Cut them locks off, nigga. Yeah. cut your hair, Jay.
I'll be looking for
cut
that
your
shit.
hair. Nigga, I want to see the Caesar J, the low Caesar J. Yeah. That way I know if an album is coming, man. Yeah. Damn, nigga, like you got real niggas out here starving for some J, and we ain't getting shit, nigga.
Especially when 444, bro. I know it was not his biggest commercially, but that album was so it was so
well put together, dog.
And when you talk about maturing in hip hop and growing with your audience, like that, even with Jay-Z being 20-something years older than me, almost 30 years older than me, that still resonated with me for me to see a rapper of that caliber. I'm like, damn, bro is really being vulnerable and really letting it be out, all out on the table and not really holding back. And so I appreciate anytime an artist is willing to take chances, not only with their brand, but creatively as well.
Yeah, especially after like he does verses like God did, and like he gave us like little snippets like, all right, you
that God did verse was crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like, my nigga, like, come on, a little 12-song album, it ain't gonna hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? First off, Andre 3000 ain't giving us. He gonna play the flute.
Another piano EP is crazy.
This nigga gonna do some all type of crazy shit, but he ain't giving us the album. So like, we need our OGs to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Really start delivering
and keep it going. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we can't age our hip hop artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't say, oh, well, after you turn 50, you shouldn't be rapping anymore.
Yeah.
Nah, nigga, keep rapping. Yeah. I want to know about your bad knees.
Nah, really.
Like, I want to know about the health issues that you have, so I can make sure that I don't go through that.
Yeah. I think the most beautiful thing that hip hop going through right now is relative to when it started, bro. It started in the late 70s. So we're really still in the infancy of this in the grand scheme of things to me. And so what's exciting to me is you are seeing that shift where it was exclusively almost for like rock acts or country acts to be those legacy acts and be 60, 70, 80 still doing tours. Now it's becoming cool in this day and age to see LL Cool J drop albums. Snoop shout out to Snoop. Snoop just dropped the album like last week, I think it was.
Busta Rhymes.
Jay still dropping. Bust dropped this year. So
Nas does.
Yeah, Slick Rick just announced that he's dropping some later this year. And so even if everything is not necessarily at the top of my list as far as, you know, oh, this is like the hottest album I've listened to, I just appreciate and love that we're allowing and accepting and welcoming our OGs aging and still being present in the culture.
Absolutely, man, because hip-hop is a sport. And speaking of sports, NFL, schedule, release. The boy, he's a Steeler fan.
Big one, man.
Steeler fan.
Yeah.
He wasn't around the last time the Steelers won a Super Bowl.
Shout out to my Steelers, man. You said what? That nigga just lied. Nah, shout out to my Steelers, man. Yeah, I'm gonna let you continue. I don't want to step on you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I already know, you know what I'm saying, you're looking forward to the Steelers season.
You know that.
Who on your schedule are you looking forward? What matchup are you looking forward to?
It's tough this year, and I know we about to get ready to wrap this up, so I don't want to go too long because I really could just start ranting. But the Steelers are in a tough situation right now. They don't have a quarterback.
They don't.
They just traded George Pickens recently, which is still kind of hurting my heart a little bit. They got to be in a situation of power right now and understand that this is what the rebuild looked like. A lot of fans kept preaching for years and years and years, oh, just go ahead and suck and be bad enough to get a top whatever the hell pick. And that's not really realistic based on how this team is built. They're ready to win now. And so I think their best mode this year is going to be signing Rodgers. They're going to end up probably trying to get like a veteran wide receiver or something like that. And you just going to have to deal with this year being a wash. And next year with the draft in Pittsburgh, they're going to go up and get a quarterback in the first rounds. Mark my words. It's coming.
They better do that. But guess what they're going to do first week? Take an L. You know why? Because they play my New York Jets. And we signed Justin Fields.
Come on.
So you know that's going to be the Justin Fields redemption game.
And Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be on the Steelers, so that'll be a little revenge match. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup. And you know what else I'm looking forward to?
What's up?
Episode 3.
Oh, my gosh.
What more can we say?
I actually had more to say, real shit.
Well, you're going to have to hold it to the next episode.
That's a fact. Okay, wrap us up then.
You already know what it is, man. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you tap in with us on the What More Can You Say podcast on our IG at What More Can You Say. I'm Radio God Stu. Follow me at Radio God Stu. My dog Jalen, where can they follow you at on social media?
At _ Jalen Brown. I just took my shit off private too, so I really got to start tapping in now that we in the podcast.
Now you're public figure.
I got to really start being out there, and in case niggas see me.
All your baby mamas can come back and find you.
You know, hold on a second. My mom started listening to this episode too, so let's wait till episode 3 to start talking about that. But anyways.
Y'all know what it is, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hit like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit all them things.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all next week, man. Y'all know what it is.
Yes, sir.